I find it interesting now. Friends even describe me as, their hippie friend that lives out, in the countryside. And then I have this moment of like, am I the hippie friend? I don't see myself as the hippie friend. And it's a funny thing. I did not see myself living in a caravan on a piece of land in a tiny little village. But I'm also not surprised in some ways. Living this life, I just didn't realize it would happen so quickly. Moving here and settling in, I think it took us a full year experiencing a full rotation of seasons to feel fully landed. After that time, it felt like we'd been planted in this land, and now it felt a bit like a birthing forth, and a seed had been planted and now we were sprouting. We have this idea that when we move to a beautiful, idyllic place, then suddenly everything just is magically better. Life is perfect. And I think what we forget is that we, the person we are, and the being we are in another space, is the same being that's going to be moving into this idyllic paradise. We're still going to have to face the same stories, the same patterns, the same unconscious beliefs and programming and traumas. It's all there. It doesn't go away. Those feelings are sometimes put on hold or pause because of a traumatic situation or just the busyness of life, but they never go away. They held there. And what I found happened when we landed in this space was my nervous system for the first time was like, okay, we can exhale a bit. We feel safe here, it's peaceful. But now because it's so peaceful, we're going to bring up all the stuff that we didn't want to deal with when we felt it was too chaotic. You still have very human struggles and very human experiences and the ups and the downs, and it's all part of it. It's all, part of the human experience to have the polarity. Life is a whole dish of everything. It's not one thing. And I think sometimes how we portray our lives, it's beautiful, it's a fairy tale, it's a pretty picture. And we can't let other people see in. We can't let people see the messiness. Things get suppressed and hidden. I felt like I had to put on a bit of a tough exterior in order to navigate and experience things. Feeling like I had to hide away from my tears, from my emotion, hardening myself with the belief that I had to be tough in a world that maybe felt harsh, in a world that felt very different from this bubble that I had grown up in. Take hold of all you know now. I think I felt this feeling of I didn't want to burden anyone else with my emotions. That almost this fear that if I did open up the floodgates of my deep feelings, they would just crash and overwhelm and flood the entire world. So this need to dam it up, keep in the waters. And that is quite a journey, to be within oneself and realize you're not too much. That you can share, you can be, you are worthy of being in this world and sharing your tender heart without being a burden to anyone else, without inconveniencing anyone with how big you are feeling and how deeply you are feeling and experiencing the world. My journey with self-love and self-acceptance feels like a day-by-day journey, and some days I feel a very deep level of self-acceptance and just beingness. I'm just here in a body, experiencing this life. And other days I feel deeply self-conscious, very introspective. There's a lot of voices, I feel, and self-judgments and stories. We sometimes are very hard on ourselves for having these experiences, but there's no judging for when the tree is naked without leaves. It just is. It's part of its journey, it's part of its cycle. So we as people also have our journey and our cycle and seasons of being able to hold ourselves in the winter times when we're feeling stark and lonely and cold, but knowing that spring is coming and there will be a shift and there will be a change. And sometimes the winds need to blow really, really hard to blow out autumn leaves. And it comes back to this deep separation from self, this deep separation from the knowing of who we are and who we can be and who we have always been, but we've forgotten. That's a journey for me, to allow myself to feel the feelings and then also pick myself up again and do things that I know are good for my being. Go and have meaningful conversations with people I know care about me. Go for walks, spend time in the forest. Do things that spark that joy again. I always used to have long lists of what I wanted of my life, and I would make these like 5-year, 10-year, 15-year plans for myself. But over the last few years, that's kind of fallen away, and it's become more of a sense of, let's just see what happens. So there's definitely this feeling that life is going to take me in interesting places, and I'm ready for it, as long as I'm there with an open heart and there to connect through that authenticity of sharing and connection. I love listening to mantras, and the other morning I was listening to this one Sanskrit mantra, Loka Samasta Sukhinu Bhavantu. And as far as I can remember, it's may all beings be happy and free, and may the thoughts and actions of my own life be of benefit to all. I think it goes something like that. Living with reverence, doing everything with that sense of devotion. I'm devoting this time, I'm devoting my being to doing this with all of my heart, this sense of living with intention, living with love. It's an honoring, it's a service, it's a It's a gifting forth.
Thanks to all of you who helped make this film possible. All of our films are totally crowdfunded. So if you'd like to continue to support us on our journey, check out our Green Renaissance page on Patreon.